future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Today, everyone is a product and everyone needs marketing to succeed. So let's talk about it right now on Marketing Unfiltered with award-winning creative expert Wendi Cooper and her co-host John Hamilton.
And bring it down. Hey, Wendi. How are you? Why are you so giggly tonight?
We're so weird. Hey, John.
Oops. Yes, hi.
Okay, so
How was your
welcome
week?
to SYFY Talk
With Wendi and John.
with Wendy and John, where we talk
Marketing
about
Unfiltered.
marketing unfiltered.
And as we know, that covers a
Sometimes
lot.
that-
That covers a broad range of what marketing
Of
is.
just
because
about
like we say,
everything on the planet Earth.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've really set ourselves in a nice position
Yes.
to talk about whatever the heck we want to.
That's right. And have whoever we want on our show.
Yes, exactly.
So, John, first, let's catch up really quick about the week.
Yes.
We've had quite a week. My favorite artist passed away. He passed away actually on my son's birthday, April 21st, I believe it was. Yeah. And you know what was interesting was my fondest memories of my 35-year-old son was driving from Aspen, Colorado to Los Angeles. We were just leaving Aspen.
You drove?
Well, yeah, it was a tough time in our life.
Well,
And-
no, not that. Just Aspen is tough to get to.
Well, we
seems
were
like an
living there. We
intense drive.
were migrating back to California.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Kind of like the monarch butterflies.
Of course.
Okay.
Moving back down.
And I can't wear it like that. And
Put it in front. Put the
and
head. Yeah, there you go.
and we would listen to not the 1999 album because it wasn't 1999 yet. It was the one before that where it was a red Corvette, I think, was on it, and all of that. Oh my god! We listened to it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I never forget that. It's my fondest memories of my son and my adventures. Isn't that cool? And then he
Yeah.
died on his birthday. So I love Prince.
Prince was amazing, and I just want to say that this episode of C-Spot Talk Marketing Unfiltered with Wendi and John is actually dedicated to a new little loved one in our life.
Oh, so one leaves
One
the earth.
yes, one
an
left
angel
the
leaves
earth,
the earth, and another one comes
and another
in.
was born. So this is to Devin Timmy Weiss, who was born very,
night.
very, very early this morning.
Yeah.
Like just after midnight. So this one goes out to you, little Devin, who can barely open her eyes still.
Who, by the way, Devin, you are a girl.
You are a girl, and she's a girl.
You are a girl.
We all
So
thought
that's
she was gonna
kind of
be a boy.
awesome. And you look just like your sisters already.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's kind of weird,
Yeah.
but awesome.
So this one goes to you, Dev. Little
I
Dev.
don't know. I don't have to say this, Maybe Rhea or Matt or somebody's watching. Maybe Rhea's watching from her
I think
bed.
Rhea's bigger things to do right now.
Probably, but you never know, right?
Like sleep.
And it's like, but if I was to have 3 kids, now my sister-in-law, sorry, I'm talking
Yeah,
to my guest
look at
again,
me, not the
that
guest.
I have not introduced yet.
She
But,
should be up on the screen just
but
because
hold on, John, we haven't.
Sorry.
Okay, so
I have a little crush on our guest, and I
I
barely
know you do.
her.
I know you do.
And I'm gay, so it's really confusing.
So I was watching Girls the other
Yes.
night, and here I go again. I was watching Girls the other night, and I love this scene. You know the gay guy that lives with Hannah in
Yes,
Girls,
yes.
right? I don't know his
Her
name. I don't know his.
ex-boyfriend.
But he's gay.
From the show, but he's gay. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But he's sitting there with her mom, like the ending scene of the last Girls was he's sitting with a bag of booze with Hannah's mom on a street corner, and they're both sitting, and he turns and he looks at her and he says, I'm 2 beers away from fucking you right now. And I thought it was so great. I loved it.
Sexual fluidity, people. Let it ride.
I just loved it. But anyway, so we are going to stop chatting about this stuff and cut to the chase.
Are we going to bring in our guest right now? Because this is we have a big deal. I think it's a big deal. We have a very important, a VIP in the studio tonight.
Okay,
to
John.
talk about something very exciting. Sorry, Wendi, I'm stealing your thunder.
No, don't steal my thunder. You go right ahead.
Well, I'm about to pass it to you.
No,
that
don't.
was my build up to your
Look, I know
intro.
Scottie, and this is Scottie's 3rd time on the show.
Okay, so welcome back.
So I and Scottie, I have a long history of being in love with her, much deeper.
Okay,
than
you get
yours.
her first. Fine.
Okay.
Fine.
So,
And then Scottie can chime in eventually.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen who are listening and watching the show, tonight our guest is Scottie Thompson,
Mm-hmm.
and she is being introduced this season on 12 Monkeys. Correct.
Yes.
And Scottie is
Second season,
This-
might I add.
well, it's the second season. It's Scottie is coming in as a villainous role, but we're going to talk about all of that. But Scottie also was the love interest of Anthony DeNoza from NCIS, and this is how I grew to love her, and then meet her one day. So it was like I was like you once upon a time. Whoa, Scottie Thompson!
Marry me. I don't care.
So anyway, Scottie, welcome back.
Thank you.
By the way, it must be weird to be like so beautiful to have people all the time just being like, huh, wow, you're so fucking pretty. Can I just look at you or be friends with you? Da 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 do. And you're like, okay, enough. Or you're just like, oh, I'm just used to it. Like, were you popular in high school? Like, were you the always pretty? Did you ever go
John
through an
wants to
awkward?
know, Scottie.
Did you ever go through an awkward phase?
I feel like I was sort of friends with everyone, but I wasn't really like, oh, she's the cool chick. I've always been like kind of
Okay,
a little
but
bit
that
of
is
an
the cool chick.
outsider.
But the girl
yeah.
that can be friends with everybody. And just for the people that
Yeah.
aren't visually watching us, you kind of have this cross between Olivia Wilde and Megan Fox. Like if they had a baby, you would be the baby. Or if they don't, if a studio doesn't want either one of them, find Scottie Thompson because you're the one to go.
Please,
to.
I'm game.
That's kind of weird.
Why? I'm describing her
Okay,
beautiful
Scottie,
looks
Scottie,
to our.
so now Scottie will leave here tonight and say, "Well, that's really awesome." So let's see if Megan Fox and who was the other
Olivia
person?
Wilde.
Olivia Wilde
maybe had a sister.
a baby.
or had a sister, let's say, a middle sister.
I would be a lot younger.
Yes.
I think you're.
Yeah. You'd be a lot younger, but you do have that look, and you have this very beautiful.
I think Scottie and I have had this conversation
pretty,
over a
beautiful
glass
girl.
of wine. I remember at the 37 from the movie 37 Final Promise, right? And
Yeah.
we were talking, and I said something about your eyes, and then you told me the story of your eyes, and that your eyes really are just your eyes, right? It's not like you're of some really crazy background of the Himalayas or something like this. I don't know, but
I feel like it's.
What is your heritage?
I'm British and Scottish.
yeah, there you go.
What's that? Me too. But I didn't get those blue eyes. Where'd those come from? There's got to be a little like Swedish thrown in there or something. Norwegian.
Yeah, there's something. I don't
A little
I
bit
don't
of
know
this and
why.
that.
Yeah. No, but I think we were talking about I don't know, maybe it was in my imagination that we were talking about this, Scottie, but we were talking about because your eyes are so unique and so beautiful, and the shape of them is can be you can play many and what's the role called in Hollywood? It's
Androgynous?
no, not
Ambiguous?
androgynous.
Ambiguous?
That would be
ambiguous.
fun too.
Ambiguous.
Yeah.
Ethnically ambiguous.
Sure.
So you can play many different roles
Yeah.
of ethnic ambiguity.
Ambiguity.
Well, like in the abstract, I could. Although they tend to, if it's an ethnic role, they're gonna
Say
go
you
with
have
that
blue
especially
eyes.
these days. I hear a
Yes,
lot of things
of
with movies where they're
course.
like, why would they have this non-Asian play an Asian American character, or this Latin American character played by this white person?
Oh, are we
or-
talking
Yeah.
about possibly the guy going to play Michael Jackson?
Oh,
What?
goodness, interesting to think about.
Roy Fiennes.
Oh gosh.
Wait, who?
Or
Isn't
are
it
you just
Roy
talking about like in
Fiennes?
theory? Is Ray
No.
Fiennes playing Michael Jackson?
Isn't it? Isn't that who's
But-
playing him?
I feel like he's a lot older than Michael.
He's way
Jackson
older.
ever.
Wait, no, this guy.
He's really
I mean, I love.
gorgeous.
He's
but-
playing he's playing Michael Jackson, yeah.
Whoa.
Huh, very interesting.
Whoa,
mean-
stupid me knows this and you don't?
Wow, that's gonna be really interesting. I mean, he's such a great actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has an
Isn't that
amazing
crazy?
act. It's just random.
Yeah, from playing Shakespeare to Michael Jackson.
Wow. Amazing.
Kinda
That'll
creepy.
be a very interesting
That's
thing
a
to
nice
see.
stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I do not know what brought that up other than playing. So you can't, in other words, playing ethnic ambiguous roles. You have to be exactly Scottish and Irish now, or whatever you are.
I could be any number of whiteness, I guess. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
on the white array.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know that like outside of that they'd be like, let's have you play, anyone of mixed race, because who knows, maybe
Look,
maybe I
you could play
but,
totally
but
mixed
now
race.
there's we're not in like
Listen,
the
throw in
1920s
some
studio
colored
system
contacts and
anymore.
give her brown eyes, and yeah, she's Native American. Voila. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of there's a lot of tricks
she's
you can
totally
use.
hot
There's a
with
lot.
blue eyes, Native American. Now, with the thing
Does
about
that
the,
exist?
the
Did that
headdress,
exist?
it does today.
It does today.
I feel like there's like so many blurred
Scottie,
lines.
what got you into acting?
Well, I started as a ballet dancer and just performing in general.
Okay.
I just love being
Growing up in
on
Virginia?
stage. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, just I don't know.
So it
I
started
always-
with dance.
Yeah. I always loved inhabiting some other person or character or something. And that was the live thing is I haven't done theater in quite some time, but in
It's a
classes,
different feeling, right?
gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it's a
great.
much.
Yeah.
It's such a like the only live I've ever done was I worked for Club Med, and at Club Med you have to like if you work there you have to be in the shows at night perform in the live on the stage at night.
That's awesome.
It's part of
I
your
know,
job.
right? How
That was the most
cool is
awesome
that?
part of the whole job was doing that.
All over the world.
Right? All over the world
Wow.
for $450 a month. But it is a very gratifying feeling to play to a live audience.
Yeah, there's such an energy exchange, and not that film and television doesn't have.
It's very different.
Another kind
Yeah.
of excitement, but this is.
Yeah,
You know,
it's live, it's
theater is-
real, it's there. It's like
Yeah.
it's a completely different ballgame. Even when you're doing like live,
It's more like being an athlete, like
Yes,
stage
it's
and stage
performance.
performance. It's like being an athlete and going and being and doing it a game, and then sort of maybe doing camera work, movies, TV's
it's
commercials.
being in training almost. It's like
Well,
let's
you
do it
get
again.
It's like one of the
Yeah,
you
you get,
go
you get more
you
than
get
one
redos.
take.
Yeah,
In theater or a dance, it's like, okay,
That's
well,
it.
you drop a line or you forget a step, you just got to improvise
Oi.
and stay present.
Yeah.
And that's what's so great about it.
Yeah.
You just have to be present.
How does that help you in your film and TV work?
Well,
Because it is so different.
It is very different, but I think from moment to moment in any kind of acting or dancing too, you have to stay true to the moment. That's the hope, and because the moments aren't it's not a 2-hour performance. It's maybe a 2-minute scene,
Yeah.
or if you're lucky, a little longer than that. But so it's not quite as elongated, and usually in your head like, oh, I'll probably get at least one more take, hopefully.
Right.
But it does keep you. It's good training in being present, and then with dance, it's good training for remembering. Oh, did I use my left hand or my right hand? Like continuity can be a nightmare for
God.
editors.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that dance is like a wonderful training for being aware of where you are in space. and
Totally.
you're-
I actually I rewatched Jurassic World the other day, and then I googled Jurassic World mess ups, and then it was all this continuity. And with a huge action movie like that, there's going to be a lot of continuity issues. So I was kind of like, as I was watching it, I was going through it, and I was like, spotted.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to do it, but yeah, I can see that how your training would be
Well,
essential
that's-
for continuity because people pick up on that. And if you catch just one in a movie, it's like,
The
It
script supervisor gets fired. I mean,
I know. I have so much
And
respect
their-
for them.
yeah.
I mean, they've
Oh,
got
that's
a
a
lot
tough
to
job,
pay attention
man.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's noticeable. So from dancing, then from being in ballet in Virginia, what made you get into acting, and where did you start? Did you start in New York? Did you fly out to
Well,
LA right away?
No, I started in Boston because I was going to school. And,
Oh, what school?
to Harvard.
Harvard,
And
everybody.
that's HARVARD.
Talented, beautiful, and freaking smart.
Harvard. Every actor I know has gone to a really awesome school.
I know they're so
Really?
smart. So
Yeah.
many actors. Are
Well, you
so
have to be
smart.
really sharp and quick
Yeah.
to, I think,
and
to
then
an
be able to
actor.
like not be in your head.
Right.
But that's a whole other issue. And anyway, so I actually got into theater when I got to school because I'd quit dancing, and there were the acting program there at the time was anybody can audition for any of the shows. And, I got like 5th alternate for some play because they cast the same 3 people in all the plays.
Of course.
Kind of like they do here.
Schools
But
in Hollywood aren't that much different. I remember,
Yeah, but, they couldn't do all 10 plays, so they had to choose. And that left the 5th alternate. And that was like, okay, I'm addicted now. And then my senior year, or going into my senior year, I was working in Boston over the summer for a travel magazine or travel guidebook, budget travel guidebook, and was like, well, I know I want to go into this acting thing. I have no idea on the practical front, and decided to take a class for auditioning for film and TV at Boston, not at Harvard, and they, I went to one class, and the next day I got an email that's, come to audition for this pilot for Showtime. And I was like, cool, what's a pilot? What's Showtime? And
I love it.
No idea.
That's
Naivete
amazing.
Works in your favor.
For sure. Oh, absolutely.
Fewer pressures on yourself.
Totally.
So I went into the room, and in the room, which would not really happen for it was like a day player, store clerk, any age, any gender,
Anybody,
any nationality.
Just for like
didn't
one
matter.
episode type of
Yeah,
thing?
like 5
Okay.
lines, like, oh, this is a fake dollar bill. And that was like the scene. And in the room were the director of the pilot, who is, directed tons of big films and series, Philip Noyce. And then the showrunner, Blake Masters, and the pilot was Brotherhood, that ended up running,
Yeah, that was
5 or
moderately.
4 or 5.
Yeah, that was pretty successful. That was a
super
good show.
smart show.
Yeah,
Such a
good
great show. Great acting.
Yeah, really, really good cast.
And writing and everything. And anyway, so I went in there for this tiny little thing, and then I don't know, we got to talking, and they just brought me in for a couple of different roles until there was something that fit. And so through that, and then the show got picked up, which, what are the odds? Of course, I had no idea about any of this because I was like just finishing senior year, and was like,
See, now I feel like that's unique when you're meeting with a casting director, and they're like, not for this role, but we're going to keep you in mind for the next. And they actually do keep you in mind and reach out and try. Is that rare? I mean, or is that...
Well, I think, you go in on so many auditions, and you're not going to be right for every role.
Right, of course.
As I've learned since, but that was like, this will be so easy.
Right. But some casting directors will be
they'll
like,
remember
no
you.
and no.
Yeah.
Like, she has no talent. She has nothing.
Wait, stand by. Scottie, what I'm hearing is it was easy.
Well, the first time, but it wasn't. I mean, I've never been so nervous in my life, and of course, I spent my whole life like performing and taking classes at school.
Sure.
But it was like beginner's luck, right? It was like, you just sort of walk in, and magic happens, which is so much about what happens. And so, and then I through that, getting on that show and I was able to get an agent, was in New York for a little bit, and ultimately moved out here. But then it was, it was so weird because I was auditioning in New York at the same time as I was working on a set in Providence where we were filming with amazingly, experienced and talented actors. And then I was going into rooms to audition, and I'm like, this is such a different beast. And I have, super, the feedback was like, she's really green.
Oh, yeah.
And so
I hate hearing that word sometimes.
So it was such a learning, such a learning curve. And it still is, but, it was really lucky. And it is, like they say, it's so much about timing, but you do go in there and you might not get the job. And that's part of the thing is, if you have a good casting director, and this also had to do with like the director and the showrunner, because they were there from the start.
Which is great.
Yeah. And so, but you go in and, like, hopefully
but not everyone
you'll make fans,
stays on
and
their
they're like,
radar.
Oh,
yeah.
that person's got something, she's got something. She's not right for this, but I'll certainly bring her in for something else.
We see something, and we want to be the ones.
So did you end up being on that show for how long?
I was on it for maybe 4 or 5 episodes in the first season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It was such a fun.
Was that like a trial by fire situation?
What do you mean by that?
Like, kind of like jump on and you're just like, okay, I'm not quite sure what to do, but I'm going to figure it out? Or did you feel comfortable and like you knew what you were doing?
Well, I certainly didn't know. I mean, the first day, I got to set and I got to set, and there was a PA who was older than me offering to get me a cup of,
anything
tea,
you wanted.
and I was like, well, I can go get it. And
they're like, no, that's my job.
Yeah, and ultimately you understand that the system works the way it works.
Right.
And it's not like, hey, I'm, I order you around or anything
Right.
like that. It's just that is
you're
her
first in
job, and
line
I
at
need to go
craft,
get ready so that I'm ready when
the
you know,
director's
director's ready.
yeah.
So it's a very systematized process, and that was like totally foreign to me. And I also remember, you know, filming one of my first scenes and having the director, you know, it was like on a huge street, and he had a megaphone and was trying to tell me what to do, and I was like, like this is so overwhelming.
You're like, I'm gonna try to keep my cool here.
And like I had like an earring that got ripped out of my ear, and I kept, you know, like
Wait, in scene or
well,
like in real
that was
life?
the scene.
Okay.
And I was using like real time reaction. Oh, ow, you know, but then the director was saying, no, we need editing. You know, it doesn't have to be real time.
It's like
we need to
rip, beat, react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was also different to anything
Interesting.
I'd experienced.
But that must have been, you must have loved that, like learning all the little nuances and all the little
I mean, you never
tricks.
stop.
Yeah.
You never stop learning. I'm actually snuck away from acting class to come here, and I'm going back. And
Oh, goodness.
you know, you constantly are
I was
growing.
going to
That's what
ask
makes
you
it.
about that because you've now. So that was when? What? Give us a perspective. What year? Okay. Don't give us a perspective. When will I learn?
When will you learn, Wendi?
Okay.
A
So
while ago.
But you have a nice body of work, but you're not only including what you're now doing, which we're going to talk about after the break. We'll talk about 12 Monkeys and your role in that and how
Can't wait to talk
exciting
about
that is.
that.
Yeah.
But before we go to break, I'd like to last time you were here with you were raising money to build an elementary school in Nepal.
Yes.
And you did do that, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I want you to share with me what happened because I haven't really spoken to you since.
Yeah, you came to the fundraiser, and
Yeah.
your son's painting was there.
Yeah,
You donated
yeah,
to our silent auction,
yeah.
which was so amazing.
He's very talented.
John's an
super
owner.
talented.
I am an
of
owner.
Chance
I'm a
Cooper.
very proud owner. Yeah.
You should be
I
a
love
proud
it.
owner. Yeah, he's got some mad skill. But yeah, it was an incredible journey. We just went in early January to a village that was on the far western border of Nepal with India. It was literally 3 miles into India, and
Cool.
was a village that until recently, maybe 10 years ago, had been still in essentially a slavery system. And there were 16 of us on the trek.
What's the organization again? Remind me.
Called Build On.
Build on.
Okay.
And anyone can raise the money and start a chapter and go build a school wherever they have the programs. And actually, also Solar City has just teamed up with them to put solar panels on all the schools, which is incredible. But gosh, it was so. We stayed and we lived with the families in the village for about 5 days, and you know it's not that long of a time to be there, but we were able to. I mean, just digging in the dirt next to another human being with a common goal. You don't speak the language. But you know, like
you're being
you just
physical.
laugh and
You're
smile
outside.
and
It's
they
teamwork.
couldn't-
Yeah.
they couldn't believe that like we were there and wanted to dig with them. We couldn't believe they were so strong. Like, I mean, these like 80-year-old women in there just crushing what I was capable of doing, and the work ethic was so impressive. And
That must have
humbling,
been
like
so
so humbling.
incredible.
So-
and what a spiritual place too
Oh,
to
yeah.
be surrounded by.
Yeah.
For that.
So let me. So you jumped on a plane, you flew, and you went, and you all met. The 4 of you met there.
There were 16 of us.
Oh, there were 16,
But
but
a lot of people to coordinate.
okay. So and you all met. Where did you meet in India? And then did you drive, or
Well, we
how
all
did you
met-
get to Nepal?
We all met in Kathmandu. We all flew into
Okay.
Kathmandu, which was amazing. And our flight, like my landing flight, was somewhat. They had to circle us for 30 minutes, and I was like, "This is the greatest
That's an
circling
intense-
ever." Because I'm just watching
yeah.
Mount Everest and like,
oh my God.
you know, just spinning around and watching that over
You're
and
like,
over
well,
again.
if this is my last view of my life and I fall to my death, whatever. At least it's Everest.
why not?
Trying to get to somewhere good.
Yeah, and so we all met there and had, I think, a night or two there, getting to know. I mean, I knew a lot of people, but not everybody knew everybody. A bunch of, some
And
actors.
is it all
and
organized by Build On?
No.
Is that part, or do you have to do those logistics yourself?
No,
and-
they do that. They organize. They had a person on the ground for us, and then actually one of the people who is, higher up in the organization and works with other actors and people out in LA. He ended up joining our group last minute because it got bigger than it was. Last minute we had more people join. And so he thought it would be good to come, which was amazing because he's just such a special soul. And then also the on the ground guy was just so wonderful. And he had gone to the village and already, they have a whole process of choosing where they're going to go. They make sure
He brought the air conditioners in.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't. It was cold at night.
I bet that's some altitude.
But no, we were like a little lower.
Okay.
Lower. I'm grateful for that. But he, they in choosing the village, they make the part of the agreement with the village is they have to agree that it's equal number of girls and boys enrolled in the elementary school, and the villagers.
So there's rules basically to them getting a school.
Yeah, for sure, and they have to agree to help build it. And so the money raised pays for, the supplies and coordinating things on the ground. And we were only there for 5 days. We helped dig the foundation, and then it's completed within 3 months. So
That's so cool.
yeah.
So do you think
Incredible.
you'll go back when it's all done?
I hope so. I mean, well, there were two. Leslie, who was here last time.
Yeah.
She and her friend from France.
Leslie the Frenchie.
Leslie the Frenchie and her French friend. They were making a documentary that they're still making called I Love, Therefore I Am. And they started the filming for the documentary there. So they're hoping to go back. But it's not usual that you go back because the idea is for the village to be like a lot of organizations go in and do something and then
That's
they're like
it.
a hero and then they're gone.
Right. And it's
this
a
is-
lot of publicity for them, too, to do that.
Yeah, and this is more like this is your school. You helped build it. Like we work
I
with
love
you.
that. That's so cool.
And then, it's yours to stay invested in. And,
Well, John,
and
you can do a build on. You just go
Mm-hmm.
on buildon.com.
That would
and you can do a
probably be
build
the
on.
best thing I could possibly do for myself
Well,
in
you
my
know
life
what?
right now.
You
Is
prob-
to do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John
To be
is,
honest.
John is at a turning point in his life
Yeah.
come Friday.
Yeah.
So, well,
Big
Friday.
crossroads, turning point, end of my day job. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This whole
It's
month
a big
has been
month.
so
Oh,
Up
it's
in the
been.
air.
It really has.
Oh, gosh.
It's been
Really?
up in the air. It's
Where
been.
have I been?
It's been crazy. There's
Uh-huh.
been deaths and births and changes and
yeah.
yeah.
I remember the
so-
horse ship said the theme for April is unsettled, and I will say it has been.
Yes,
It ha-
would,
yeah, that's
I
a
would,
good-
I
very
would,
good.
I would agree with that. So, and with that, I'm going to tell you where we're going to go. We're going to
Gonna
go
go to
commercial,
break.
and we will be back in about I don't know. I think it's down to 3 minutes now because we got something new.
Right after these words.
If you need direct response television media planning and buying, then Direct Avenue is your best bet. Besides being a media specialty, direct response television advertising is the smartest form of advertising today. Direct Avenue is a short form media agency where direct response meets branded television advertising. It takes master planning, negotiating, buying, tracking, and reporting to run an effective advertising campaign in order to have sustainable growth. I've been nothing but impressed with everyone at Direct Avenue. As a CMO consultant, I need to feel connected to the entire supply chain of a campaign, and I trust that Direct Avenue is doing the best job possible. Direct Avenue understands the urgency in planning, negotiating rates, flexibility, and agility in leveraging relationships that allow for a smart and efficient media test. The leadership at Direct Avenue know their sweet spot, and they stick to it. These days, media planning and buying supported with the best systems to track transactions from phone, mobile, web, social, and search back to your media dollars is what it's all about if you want to grow your campaign and deliver a robust ROI. Direct Avenue has been around for a long time and delivering great services for many years. In fact, here's the number of Scott Kowalczyk, the CEO. 760-579-4210. That is his direct number. Again, it's 760-579-4210. 4210. Or you can go to directavenue.com, check them out, and get a free analysis for your campaign. When was the last time a CEO gave out his direct number on radio? Well, that just goes to show you what Scott's all about. So call Scott at 760-579-4210.
Hey there, do you know how your puborectalis muscle works? Well, here's your colon, where waste is stored thanks to the puborectalis muscle that pinches your colon shut until you're ready to go. But there's a problem. The invention of the toilet. It changed everything, except our anatomy. See, we're all created to squat to go, but we don't. We sit, and sitting only partially relaxes the muscle. We end up straining and pushing. EasyGo Pro fixes the problem instantly just by elevating your feet. Your hips shift to a natural position, and that unpinches your colon, and that allows it all to flow easier. Reinventing the toilet isn't an option, but you can make yours better. EasyGo Pro. It's ergonomic, sturdy, compact, and stores completely out of the way. Plus, one size works for everyone. EasyGo Pro. Go time just got easier.
Are you sick of being stressed, overwhelmed, and unmotivated? Do you feel life is running you instead of you running your life? If so, then listen up. There's a breakthrough program built on over 100 years of therapies commonly used with America's returning veterans to help them successfully overcome PTSD, pain, and depression. According to the Huffington Post, in 2012, when music therapy was added to the rehabilitation program at Walter Reed's Medical Center for Wounded Veterans, medical professionals noticed patients' positive emotional response to music. Music has been shown to improve the quality of life. If you're looking for alternative healing for anxiety, depression, and pain, why not experience the therapeutic ability of Whole Tones? Whole Tones makes use of specially designed frequencies inspired by King David, interweaved through soothing songs that stimulate your body's natural healing process. If it works for battle-scarred vets, can it work for you? Experience it for yourself for free at freewholetones.com. That's freewholetones.com. That's free, WHOLE, tones.com.
We are back. Welcome.
Oh, hello.
Welcome, everybody.
Well, and especially I would like to thank Mama Hamilton for giving me a shout out about how beautiful I am and that you want John to invite me over for dinner.
Yes.
I will be welcome to come anytime.
You are exactly who she was referring. So thank you, Mama. You have the invite out.
We never do that. And also, we wanted to make sure to shout out to my makeup artist for the evening.
Our segment producer who couldn't be here tonight, Cassidy Weiss.
Oh, no, Cassidy Harper. Not
Sorry,
supposed
she
to
hates
say
that.
Weiss.
She hates that.
And no, Cassidy couldn't be here, but she did insist on doing my makeup. So if I do look different, and then she insisted on my...
You did the Suzanne.
My Suzanne.
You did the Suzanne Summers hair.
It's so embarrassing. So anyway, here we are back at C-Spot Talk Marketing with Wendi and John.
Mm-hmm. We have our absolutely lovely guest, Scottie Thompson, here.
We do. And now we're back,
Yes.
and we are going to talk about Scottie's new role.
On 12 Monkeys on SYFY.
SYFY.
This is season 2, and she's coming in as a new character. And so explain a little bit about that.
No spoiling it.
I know.
Yeah, without spoilers, though.
Yeah, because you really...
This is a show I'm going to get really into, so...
It's a show you should get really
Yes.
into.
Yeah.
It's so great. Watch season 1 because it's very confusing, and my parents, of course, tuned in to
Just started
watch,
in
and
season
they
2.
were like, what? What's happening? And I was like, yeah, it's season 2. I told you. And they're like, oh, we'll rent the movie. And I was like, no, you've got to watch the show.
You're like, different thing.
You know, movie's great as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, my character is... Yeah, because I was in the season premiere, but you didn't really, as you noticed, see too much of me yet.
Me?
So.
Notice what? You?
It was like, oh, where was she? She was
Who,
there.
me? Where am I?
My husband's going, because I'm going, you know Scottie, you met Scottie, you met Scottie, you know Scottie, you met Scottie. And then they remember Moby was there. And who was the guy that played that was so awesome?
Andy Clockwise.
Andy Clockwise. Cassidy, if you're listening
so
or whatever,
great.
but Andy Clockwise was so amazing
Yeah.
at that. So Marina was all, oh yeah. And then we're watching. And all you could see because you got didn't you get beamed away?
Yeah.
Did you get beamed away? Yeah, you got beamed.
Is that a spoiler, Wendi?
No, because it already aired.
Yeah.
It already aired.
Okay. Fair enough.
We're good.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But then I read today. I was reading a little bit more because I didn't watch the first season of 12 Monkeys, but I'm going to. And oddly enough, I think I am going to watch them backwards. And why? Because I think it's kind of interesting.
And why? Because you're Wendi.
Because I've already watched season 2 premiere. Right now, I'm curious. It's interesting. Okay, well. And I watched it twice because I have watched it twice. It's like I went to Brion's movie 3 times. But
Yeah, because you fell asleep. Like,
I did fall asleep that one time. Brion knows I fell asleep.
I know it was late. It was a very long day for you.
Okay.
To your credit, nobody knew you had fallen asleep.
But anyway, it's another story.
Sorry.
But I think it's kind of interesting. Like with Game of Thrones, right? So with a series like 12 Monkeys, which it's really important to probably follow it from the very beginning because the characters are developed and the story is being told and it's flashing back and forth from different things and all of these different storylines. You know, there's this
I
fabric
can't just start a show
that's there.
on season 2 or 3 or 4. Like, that's how I am with Game of Thrones. Like, I haven't started it because I got to start with season 1, episode 1.
Yeah.
I think
You
that's a
know, and
little
that's
bit
how
of
I'm
a
gonna-
cop out because if you haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, you're never going to watch Game of Thrones.
That's how
John.
I feel.
It's a lot.
That's how I feel because
Yeah,
it's so much content
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
But with 12 Monkeys, I feel like I can start with season 1, power through it because I'm
Yeah.
totally into the sci-fi stuff.
13
me too.
episodes. You can totally, and it is one that I don't know. I would recommend watching from the beginning because it does play with time. So it's jumping back and forth, and causality is a major, theme. Like,
That's
is
fun.
this, like when you're going back in time, this couldn't have happened
Yeah.
now if
Yeah.
you
If
go back
that
and
had
change that back
occurred,
there.
right.
So
So you don't think me playing it backwards plays into the theme of 12 Monkeys?
What are you trying to be Memento over
I don't
here?
know. I'd have to ask. I'll have to see what the creator thinks about
No,
that.
seriously,
but-
if I
Yes,
play,
ask the
I'm
creator.
watching it
Listen, my
backwards.
friend Wendi is watching it backwards. What do you
think
think?
about that concept? You know,
I
if you
know,
watch
it's an
it
interesting
backwards, it's
concept.
an
It is
interesting
very
concept.
Sure. Yeah. I
You
watched
know?
Beyonce's Lemonade backwards. It did nothing
Because
for
it'll
me.
start making sense. It's like now that I've watched, shut up. So
which I haven't seen yet.
I
Beyonce's
bought it.
Lemonade. What is
Yeah.
that?
I'll tell you guys later when we're done.
Something
staying
that
on
nobody
track.
else knows about but you, John?
No.
Everybody knows about it.
Just like see
Yeah.
you next Tuesday? Scotty, do you know what see you next Tuesday means?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
That I
Jesus,
do.
I am the only person that didn't know that. Okay, I'm done. I'm
We're
not gonna
done.
say
We're
anything.
talking about sci-fi. We're talking about 12 Monkeys. And how did that start? So how did you get that gig and how did it come along for you?
Well, I auditioned for it, and then
It's less of a gig, more of a job, really, because it's a ongoing, right?
I'm in several episodes in this season.
So you're a recurring character in this season.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
a recurring character in this season, and yeah, I don't know. I just went in for the audition, and my character's name was originally Mantis. So I've
Mantis
actually
Toboggan.
as in like a praying mantis. And another character's name was Wasp, and they've since changed our names. But
What is your name? Has it not been revealed yet?
No. It's on the credit. It says Vivian Rutledge.
So they went from Mantis to Wasp to Vivian Rutledge.
Well, Wasp was another character.
Oh, gotcha.
It went
But-
from Mantis to Vivian Rutledge.
But for some, I was really excited because I've been taking animal study classes, and so I was into like acting animal classes, and so I was like, oh my god, it's like the universe just handed me some insight into what my character is like and how she moves and exists in the world.
Because you're a
And
wasp?
I'm a mantis, a praying mantis.
Oh, you are a praying mantis.
But then, in talking with one of the writers who wrote a fair amount with this character, he was, we were talking about her development and everything, and was saying, is there if there's a name you'd want? And I was like, well, I've always loved Lauren Bacall, and I love her so much in The Big Sleep. I'm pretty sure that's where I was like, what was her name in that? I might be misquoting which film it was. So I went in and looked it up, and I was like, well, I'd like to be Vivian Rutledge, and as a callback to Lauren Bacall because of the time travel and where my character goes in time.
that's so cool. That's like a little bit of trivia.
I think that's a cool little thing that you slid in there that is a really creative sort of aspect that
That nobody will know except for Scottie, basically.
well, but that
and us.
nobody thought to think of either, is to kind of tie in the whole sort of
I'm sure
homage.
they would have had their own things come up. You know, they're writers. They're pretty,
Yes, we'll give them
pretty
their credits,
intelligent
of course,
and
of
creative,
course.
and you know, they were already coming up with the name Mantis, which you know they had an idea of who this character was from a physical standpoint too, right? So. I was just really grateful that they opened up the discussion to me creatively to, you know, to talk about what would you like her
What's
name to
your-
be? 'Cause
yeah,
that's
the
not
development.
always,
That
you
is
don't always
really
get
cool.
that gift, especially, you know, as a recurring character, you're not, you know, there for.
It seems like to me they were
story
like,
development.
okay,
Yeah.
we want your input on how you would play this because we.
Are you a mantis though? I mean, do you like morph into like a praying mantis or something? I mean, is that like?
Well, like, are
that a
you like a
spoiler alert?
chameleon? Like, can you do you like blend into your environment? And are you like, can you
Is that what-
See,
sneak
that's a
up
different
on
kind of
things?
animal altogether.
Yeah, what does a
chameleon.
mantis do?
A
They
praying
kill
They
their
prey.
and they kill their mates.
Yes, the good
Yes.
good one. I'm
They
impressed
kill
to
their
do that.
mates
They have these crazy eyes.
and they fight like.
And they have
Yeah,
these
there's
crazy
like
eyes.
that praying mantis kung fu.
They're
I mean,
really
it just
cool.
informs like how, you know, for me it was good just to look at study praying mantises.
It's also like a Zen,
and
like a Zen sort of ancient Chinese Zen, I think, or
So
Japanese.
So
or
you're going to be
Chinese?
moving like a little praying mantis, huh?
well,
You're
you know,
Vivian Rutledge
you're
moving
not
like a
taking
praying
it-
mantis.
Yeah, not like 100%.
So in your robe, you're like this is
Yeah.
like this, Scottie.
Well,
But then-
she-
and then the thing comes apart and the eyes come out.
yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Get
So
ready.
do you? So is it a physical? Is it a very physical role as the praying as Mantis or Vivian Rutledge?
Yes, the show is super physical.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Dark.
stunt work.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's
are you
super
doing
dark.
your own stunts, or do you have a stunt girl? Do you do some that you?
I'm not
Can-
here, by the way.
I did have a stunt woman. Although I did a fair amount of the stunts. I love doing stunts. It's fun. I mean, having trained in dance and
Yeah, you're an athletic person.
yeah. And actually the lead actress on the show, Amanda Shaw, was an ex-ballerina, or she's still
Oh.
probably super talented dancer. Super successful, was like with the San Francisco Ballet.
Wow.
She was the lead in the movie Center Stage,
Did
which
she
I was
go-
an extra in.
That's
and
what I was
wasn't
saying. I
even-
was watching the promos and I was like, that's the girl from the dance one. Not
Yeah.
Save the Last Dance, but
Center
the better one,
Stage.
Center Stage. Love that movie.
I know, so did I.
Great movie.
Anyway, so
Yes, anyway.
so I did a fair amount of my stunts, but it was funny because we filmed a bit of it. I was lucky enough to have to go to Budapest for part
Oh,
of my
cool.
filming, and even though it was all interiors, I was like, well, I lucked out for
Yeah,
this bit.
you still get to kick it here for a while.
Yeah, it was amazing, and so they had to bring in, you know, stunt people for our scenes, and it's just always interesting. I feel like, you know, for the main cast members and everything in Toronto, they have their stunt people who are very skilled and look relatively like them. This was
Right.
like Amanda's stunt person was like twice her age, and like it was just, I don't know.
Because sometimes
it
you're
was
just
like-
getting from like the back of the
I
head,
mean,
right? So
but it was, and then there was one guy, like one character, an actor who was in one of the episodes, and he's like tiny kid, and then like his stunt double was his height, but twice his, like this beefy wrestler, and this was like a really
We have to watch for
thin
this
guy.
stuff when we're watching the show.
And we were like, how is that? Like that's a huge difference. Like you can hide the face, I guess, but
the main time I ever noticed that was watching the latest Indiana Jones movie, and it was Harrison Ford, who could like barely run, and then all of a sudden he'd be tumbling and flipping and shooting, and it's like, okay, that's your stunt double, because the next scene he's like, here I come, like limping and shit, and then jumping and diving. But yeah, so but I want to hear about your stunt experience.
well, that was really like, I mean, that was like not that much of that.
so, but it was
just a
kind of
stunt
cool to have
story
your
that I
stunt
thought-
people, though, right?
Yeah, it's always fun. I
Yeah.
mean, and you know, it's doing as much of it as you can is always fun. Like, you know, trying to remember the choreography and.
Do they set limits? So if you're like, no, I can do this, they'll be like, no, we're not allowing you to do this.
There's limits in your
Yeah.
contract.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, the stunt, like that's their job. They want to do
Sure.
the work. I had a really fun bit where my character has some real intense strength abilities. And so, they had this like crouching tiger thing where I was like hooked up to these ropes and all of a sudden, I don't want to give it away, but it was super fun. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, and they had the stunt woman there and she was they're so helpful. Or at least every time I've worked with stunt people, they're so
and just like kind of
right
like
there and explaining it and making
Sure.
sure you're feeling comfortable and but I was like, I want to do it because this is like really fun.
Yeah. Why not when you can, as long as it's not like jumping into a burning car or
or like
something.
if somebody like pushes you down and you just fall on your back, you're like, well, I don't really, maybe I don't want to do that today because like if I don't know,
you don't need to
There's
throw something
not,
out if you got a
your
big scene
ego
later.
Doesn't need to like prove anything. In that sort of
Yeah.
situation, right? So. But the dancer in me is always like, I want to like do as much as I can because it's a good workout
just for the
too,
experience
on
too.
set.
I'd like to get strapped into one of those things and fly across like a Peter Pan kind
I
of
bet
thing.
you
That
would,
be awesome.
Wendy. I bet you
So
would,
fun.
Yeah,
Wendy.
why not? That would be so much fun.
That would be so fun.
Did you ever on the Santa Monica Pier? Did you ever go and do the trapeze
I
thing?
totally did.
You did?
I did it.
I
Like,
haven't done it.
religiously.
Oh, really?
I love it. I had so much.
You did
fun
it
doing that.
religiously?
Yeah, I went to I did like I got to be like intermediate level.
Was that like part of your training for the show, or was that just like a side hobby that you were
just
doing?
a rather pricey side hobby.
Yeah.
Can't afford now. But
Seriously.
Here comes Scotty. Here
Here
Scotty.
comes
She
intermediate
wants to
level.
break
She gets
break
priority access to the sky
I've
jump.
always wanted to do it. No, it's the
bungee jump
the
thing.
trapeze one. That's the one I'm talking about. Where you do the trapeze.
Yeah, there's a trapeze
Yeah.
center here. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I was up there one time and there was an earthquake when I was like up on the tower getting ready to go. And they're like, don't go. And I was like, why not? I didn't even notice.
They're like, earthquake. You're
Yeah.
like, nah.
Good place to be during an earthquake. I mean,
Yeah, sure, why
way
not?
high up over water.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why not?
Why not?
Totally.
On a trapeze.
It's
Over
better
in
than-
that.
better
On
than
a pier.
Underneath the pier.
Yeah. Why not?
Well,
What?
why? It's
It sounds like something's really heavy is weighing on your mind here.
Well, what happened is I had this experience with my makeup before the show.
Oh, you're a
So
makeup artist before the show?
I'm still like concerned until I see
Do you need
it.
to talk about that?
No, I'm
right
not going to
now?
talk about it.
You sure?
I'm not. Yes, I'm sure.
'Cause you look fine. You look good, Wendy.
Okay. Scotty, what else is new? What else is coming up? Anything?
Who knows?
No?
Who knows out there?
I have a
for
feeling
nice-
and I'm not just saying this.
Are you going back
but-
to? I didn't watch the episodes. I watched one of the episodes on NCIS when you came back.
Yes.
Did you die or anything? What happened to you?
I had one other after that, and then it had been posited that I would be doing more, but I think things changed.
Oh, did McGee or somebody like that get involved?
No, I think I don't know what I really don't know what happened, but I do know that it was meant to be a surprise that Michael was leaving the show.
Oh, he's leaving?
Yeah.
See, I don't watch it anymore. I really don't watch it anymore.
This is his
Yeah, I've
last
never really watched that
season,
show.
And
I did.
So I think initially they're gonna ride off into the sun. He was gonna ride off into the sunset with Jean Benoit.
Oh,
But then
Jean
it got
Benoit.
leaked that he was leaving the show before the last episode, and so I think that
Oh.
changed what happened.
How he left. Did they shoot him or something? Did he die?
I don't
Oh, you don't know?
because it
Neither
hasn't
do
aired
I.
yet.
Oh, so he's leaving. So thank you.
Yeah.
So DiNozzo's gone.
He's
Right.
gone. Yeah,
And that little Twitty girl that they had that replaced the Israeli girl.
she's still on the show.
Yeah, I know,
She's
but
a
I guess
friend.
sorry.
She's a
She's
friend.
sweet, but
Are
I
we
don't.
still talking about
class.
NCIS?
Character-wise, I don't like the character. I'm sure she's lovely. I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
she's lovely. For me, I was a really NCIS fan when Scotty was on there as Jean Benoit. Okay,
Great name.
and it was a great season when you were on that.
Yeah,
And
it
it was
good.
a great season, and I kind of lost everything after that, and I never was really interested in it again. And then I tried to get interested in it because my husband even liked it because he loved Penny and all of that stuff, right? So, and then all of a sudden, it's like they replaced the characters that really made it kind of meaty and interesting, I think. And that's when
When
I
you're
just kind of lost.
invested.
I lost it. I just kind of
Yeah.
lost it. It's the same old thing with frickin' what's his name, Mark Harmon. Carrying the. This is what I can't say. When somebody's carrying a coffee cup like this,
Oh,
right?
as when it's supposed to be
there's- when
full,
it's
but it's
supposed to be
clearly
full,
empty.
it's
I
like-
hate that.
It does no one else see that
Or
I
when they
see
pick
that
it
they're
up,
doing that?
like it weighs nothing. Yeah, at least we've all had a coffee cup in our hand. We know what it's
Right.
like. At least act.
Act like there's
Act.
something in it.
Well,
you
also,
know?
or just get like water in there.
Yeah, why not?
Something.
Why
Wait,
not?
because you will forget that there's nothing in there, and you'll just carry it like there's nothing in there because you're used to like.
Well, you're focused on so many other things.
But it's easy
yeah.
just to like,
But
let's put something in there.
on
Yeah,
N-
just put some water in
NCIS,
there.
John, it is the coffee cup is like the handoff all the time. It's like the freaking handoff, the handoff with the
And it
coffee
always
cup,
looks
with the coffee
empty.
cup, with the coffee cup, with the coffee cup. It's like it's so distracting. And by season 12, with the coffee cup, it's like I can't take it any longer.
I don't even know what you're talking about
No,
anymore.
you don't because you don't watch it.
Like half
but
pow.
you know what I'm talking about.
half pow, right? Or something.
They're always handing off the coffee cups to each other. You know, it's like Jesus, people. Is that it? Thanks. No, thanks. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks. Oh,
Thanks.
here you go. Or here's your sizzle squizzle with the, here. So they're always handing drinks to each
Oh.
other.
I don't know.
So,
I don't-
Scotty.
Yeah. John, we have to wrap the show up in 2 minutes.
Okay, then my final question is to you before we go over the information again about SYFY and 12 Monkeys, where to find you, etc. What is your dream project? If you could work with a dream director or co-star, actor or actress, who would that be?
Well, that's 3 questions.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll just
So
figure
dream
it out.
director.
there's okay.
Sure.
Well, I'm obsessed with Wong Kar-wai, but he doesn't do many English films. But it's funny. I was just watching an interview today with Richard Linklater, and I love his work. And just listening to him talk about his process, I think he would be incredible to work with. And also, and then it was funny because he was talking about Woody Allen, and I was like, God, he's
You're like,
just such
yeah.
a he's just always making, so many. He's always creating so many things. Some films are better than others. It's always going to
Yeah,
happen.
but they're all like iconic in a
God,
way,
he's
right?
such an icon,
yeah,
and he's getting older, and there's a long list of people with whom I would love to work. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
I
don't
could
know.
just keep going
Yeah,
and going.
yeah.
Because you got a lot
Scorsese.
ahead of you, and there's so many prospects, and you're bright, you're smart, and you seem talented, and you're sharp. So I see big things for our friend.
Sounds like
Scotty
you're going to be
over
the
here.
future Mrs. John Hamilton.
If things go my way.
Well, thank you.
Things go my way. No, but really, like
I've
it's
never seen you so smitten.
well,
I haven't.
Whatever.
I
So big deal,
haven't.
big deal. She has an
cute.
energy that I like.
Thank
But
you.
you meet actors and actresses all the time in this town, and you're just not impressed. Well, and not that it's not impressed, because like you're not, it's not like a judgmental thing, but you're just like, oh, okay, sweet, yeah, just like 90% of the other people here. But like there is something very special, and there's a spark and a light inside of you and an energy. So I see good things for you.
Well, thank you. I
and
appreciate
I
that.
hope that you continue to be successful and get.
Yes.
Wendy's checked. She's done.
I hope so too, and for you too. Whatever the next step of your journey.
Thank
is.
you. I will let you know. I will keep you posted.
Yes, I'm curious.
But it's
to
either
know
Cuba
more.
or Africa. I'll leave
Oh,
it
no,
at that.
it's Cuba. I want to go to Cuba. Let's go to Cuba.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I want to go to Cuba so
I have a
bad.
conference call at 11 a.m. tomorrow with travel agent about Cuba.
About what does that mean, John?
About how to get there, because you can't just go. You can't just book a ticket and go.
You actually you can go to Cuba if you're going
with a tour group.
or if you're going to explore opening a business there,
Or if you're going as a humanitarian,
or
which you
if
have to
you're
say
going-
you are anyway,
or if
apparently.
you're, and if you can stay with a family there, they like
Right.
for you to stay with a family
Right.
there. But it is such a beautiful. I have wanted to go to Cuba
Old
for
world.
20 years.
Ugh, I just think it would be so cool.
Before it becomes completely capitalist.
Before it becomes the
Yes.
next
Because-
Cancun or
Yeah.
Miami Beach.
The
Right.
opportunities, I mean, the vultures and the opportunities. I want to go to Cuba and save it. Let's go to Cuba and save it. No, it's beautiful in Cuba.
Yeah.
I
It
know a
could-
lot of
I-
people who go
I'm
to
sure it'd
Cuba
be
for vacation.
incredible.
Just not Americans because we couldn't go.
Yeah.
Italians go all the time
Yeah.
for vacation.
Yeah.
Scottie Thompson, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
here.
much
Thank
for
you,
being here.
guys.
No,
Thanks for
it's
having
really
me.
it's really our privilege.
Scottie has
have
to go
you here.
back to her class, which is down the street. She snuck away.
Yeah, but for press. So
Yeah,
hey.
good reason. Good reason.
Yeah.
Let's watch. So Scottie is on SYFY's. What nights?
The
it on?
SYFY channel, 12 Monkeys.
Monday nights at 9 p.m. Well, Pacific time.
Okay.
Oh, so there was another one on last night.
Yes, there was.
Oh, I have to go home and
Oh,
watch
good.
that
I
one
can't. I'm sorry.
because it wasn't on sci-fi.com yet. Only it had to air maybe I have to wait 48 hours after it airs or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I am going to try to watch the whole series backwards because I just think it's apropos.
I want to report back on that. By
So
the way.
seriously, I think it'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool. Hey, look, I watched the whole Game of Thrones season 1 all in one day.
Wow.
In 12.
What?
It,
I
it
mean-
took me 12 hours.
I can see why.
Yeah, if you're and that's the thing. Like, I'm ready to like get like a flu for a week, so I
Yeah.
can just like watch Game of Thrones.
Are you
because
kidding me?
I'm
You're
dying to
so
watch
freaking
it.
ridiculous that do you watch it, Scottie?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. What's with you?
I like fantasy.
Oh my God, me too. Okay. You can tell when Tony's starting to chomp at the bit here.
Tony just has to. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, Scottie, thank you so much for being here, and
Yes,
Wendi,
Yeah.
Thank you.
take
Thank
us
you
out.
very much.
And you,
Yeah.
I am Scottie T.
Scottie at Scottie
we
T.
changed it to at Scottie.
Is that
I am
across
Scottie T.
all
I
of
am
your-
Scottie T.
Yeah, that's all the same handles.
It's
Across
I
the
am
board.
Scottie T. And you can watch this show. But anyway, we have an outro and it'll play. And we're going to play our new little Easy Go Pro 15-second little
Yeah,
fun
and
thing
we'll
that we created.
we'll post a little picture on Facebook so you can find Scottie's information on
Oh,
there
Jesus.
too.
Are you fucking kidding me? All right, wait a
Later.
minute. Stop it. John, I posted on Facebook yesterday everything about Scottie being on the show.
Yeah, but we post pictures after the show.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
You're gonna give me an attitude. I'm gonna give you an attitude.
Mama Hamilton. I don't know how you do it. All right, we're out of here.
Oh,
Thank
she had
you.
a tough time for a while there. All right, love you,
see you.
Wendi.
Thank you,
We'll
Scottie.
see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.
SYFY Talk Marketing Unfiltered is made possible by our sponsors, Direct Avenue, the television media agency where you can expect more. Contact them at directavenue.com. Ending music is courtesy of Tom Orsi at Orsi Digital. You can download audio episodes of SYFY Talk Marketing on iTunes, Spreaker, and Stitcher, or enjoy the full-length video uncut on YouTube. Just search for SYFY Talk in your directory, and while you're there, make sure to subscribe. Special thanks to John Hamilton and Tony Sweet for making Tuesdays the best night of the week. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, just send me an email at wendy@cspot.run.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.